broadleaf evergreens like this American holly, Ilex opaca, have evolved over time several methods to protect themselves from the severe cold. One of them is to cover their leaves. Each leaf is protected with a thick, waxy cuticle or coating that protects the water inside the leaf. As well, there are chemical compounds that course through the plant that act as kind of an antifreeze, like in your car's engine. The main thing to remember about broadleaf evergreens, though, is that the increased surface area as opposed to the scale-leafed and the needle-leafed evergreens, that increased surface area means you have to pay a little more attention to their care during the winter time, and that's what we're going to talk about today. This little Mahonia, which is an Oregon grape holly, is about to burst into bloom. It is also considered a broadleafed evergreen. These plants, they continue to photosynthesize during the winter, but at a slower rate. So evapotranspiration can be a problem for them. So one of the tactics that you want to undertake when growing broadleafed evergreens in your garden or arboretum is to make sure that there is some winter protection against the drying winds, generally from the north and the west in our area. If you can place them on the south or the east side of a building or other plantings, that will help them a lot. Another thing to do would be to mulch well around their root zone. And in some cases, you may have to end up watering the plant. This is in bud now, and it will bloom later in December and produce berries in the early spring. The blooms are very fragrant. They're searching out late pollinators. And then the berries are a deep purple, wonderful color of berry, and this candle of blooms will become a candle of blueberries and purple in the spring. This is a southern or bull bay magnolia, Magnolia grandiflora, and it's marginally hardy in our zone, but if you protect it, this is on the west side. It's in a great spot. It loves it here. This plant has fragrant white blooms they're very evocative for anybody who's lived in the South or has visited when it's in bloom. And this plant needs to be well mulched around its root zone. Actually, I think many of the broadleafed evergreens are not so much temperamental as to cold, but what they don't like, what happens is the water in the ground has frozen and they're dying of drought. They just can't access the water from the ground. So the important thing here is to mulch well, find a protected zone so that the winter winds aren't passing through it terribly, and also that soil stays as close to freezing or above as you can make it. I would also add they generally tend to like an acid soil that's fairly rich. A loamy garden soil is preferred. We've talked about camellia in another segment of Garden Clips, but I'd like to make sure that you understand it's a broadleafed evergreen and deserves to be in that category with rhododendrons, hollies, and others. This wonderful plant is blooming now in early December, and you can see from the buds on the tips of these branches that'll be blooming for another few weeks.